When I was a kid, my dad decided that he was going to take a bunch of boys and girls at that time on rock hunting trips, just like he'd done as a kid. And we occasionally found fossils. That experience of our going out and digging fossils kept me outside a lot. And maybe the first time I became interested in birds and open space was one of the things that was part of that.
I knew Viola Sema-Barklow from our escapades trying to save open space in Hayward. And she, at that time, was the president of Ohlone Audubon. Marie Gruby was president for a while after Vi decided she'd had enough. And then Helen Soares became president. She did not like being a president because she's pretty bashful. So I said to her, you know, it'd be much easier to be president than to be secretary, so let's swap jobs. and I've been at this job ever since.
The particular thing that appealed to me is it's a smaller organization, and it's also local. I live in Fremont. And then my involvement with it grew as I started to go on field trips because I became such a big birder. So I became the field trip chairperson, and that just really got me involved more with the board and issues that are being dealt with in conservation and education and programming and so forth.
It is true that Ohlone Audubon, we are situated with freshwater, saltwater habitats, woodlands, with riparian, a lot of riparian, and we do have some areas that are really wet. So that is one of the great things about the birding that is here. That's right. And it's exciting. There's new things that show up and things that haven't been there for a long time.
We have about 40 field trips every year. And in connection with that, I've introduced Ohlone Audubon to social media, which was a big change. So we got involved on Facebook. I make sure our field trips get posted in a variety of places, including a Yahoo birding event group. Another thing we've gotten into more than before is the use of eBird. That enables me now, when we have a field trip, after the field trip I can send the checklist to the participants, and they can save it directly into their eBird account. And they have told me this differentiates you from other Audubon societies.
Well, one of the things I've really enjoyed is our field trips. I tend to like the water's edge for a variety of reasons. And little by little, I learned a lot of the shorebirds. When I was volunteering at the Don Edwards Wildlife Refuge, the first ones I noticed were the phalarope spinning around down there in the slough.
I really think the number one thing that I learned, and as I say, it really came to me as a revelation, was that the only thing that mattered was open space, having the right habitat with the right food sources, freedom from the intrusion of people, especially for more sensitive species, and how important it is to set aside and preserve land and habitats for animals. People in general don't have a clear understanding of what's going on in the non-people world. And there was a big opportunity there to educate them.
I was very much more involved in social justice issues, but they somewhat overlapped into environment. And gradually I began to see that they were pretty much interrelated. But I've really come to appreciate birds and really understand the hazards they face.
There were these two things going on. There was an entertainment factor for how Ohlone ought to be, what kind of programs we should provide, and then there was this strong, very conservation. And it has that pendulum has been swinging back and forth ever since. Sometimes it seems that we get more involved with conservation issues, and sometimes we get away from that and go a little more towards what I call the entertainment aspect. And bird watching is entertaining. There's just that another step that says these birds need our help.
We are strictly an all-volunteer group, so we have to not over-stress the people who are involved in order for them to be able to keep doing this, because when you're carving out a piece of your time, your precious time, to do what we need to do for Audubon, we don't want to exhaust people and burn them out. So it's kind of a question of a balancing act for our membership as well.
I think that once we've drafted a person into Ohlone, they stay. It's my impression that there is always some attrition. People move away, whatever. But for the most part, once you're in, you're in. Our field trips are so much fun because there's just a big group of people that you only see socially at the field trip. And when we are seeing all kinds of great birds, it's just so much fun. And we talk and catch up. You know, being in this environment with folks that have common interests and see the world the same way you do and want to have fun the same way you do is great.